Alright, so this is the box that it comes in. It's about it's a mid ATX case. Pretty standard stuff. I picked it up for about $33. That includes the case and the power supply. It's a company called LOGISYS. I don't know. LOGISYS. I don't really know how to pronounce it. That's the model number CS305. As you can see, it has a power supply, clear fan, folded edges, which is nice. Audio and video, like on the front right there, and my favorite one, super steel. So don't really know what that means. I guess they're marketing gimmick for higher quality steel or something like that. I guess it's a steel case instead of aluminum. I don't know. We'll find out when we actually open the package. Alright, so here's the actual case. This is how it comes in the box over there. Comes in 2 styrofoam spacers just to give it a little bit of protection, so I'm going to go ahead and grab these off. So first impressions, what I can say is that it's a cheaper sounding case. You know, definitely thin walled as well. Does come in a protective plastic. So we got the protective plastic like on the very front to prevent scratches, I guess, fingerprints and stuff like that. It does have thumb screws, which is a nice addition. There's the power supply right there. Don't actually know what the wattage is off the top of my head. And one thing I have noticed right off the bat is that this actually has a I/O shield. That's actually quite strange. I guess it's like it looks kind of universal, but I've never actually seen a case ship with an I/O shield. That's what surprised me about this case. As you can see, I've actually already broken it a little bit. Not broken it, but just bent the metal right there, just trying to take the door off. So door panel, you know, standard, pretty thin steel, I'm assuming. Comes with a power cable, standoffs for the motherboard, as well as speaker and all the necessary screws, I assume. USB, looks like, yeah, it's HD audio. Don't know what that one's for, actually. Does have 2 Molex connectors for the fan, so that is going to be a problem with the power supply I am putting in that. However, this power supply that comes with it, wow, that's a bad amount of flex. Wow, you can actually see it came damaged. This little part right here, it's actually bent. I don't know if you can see that, but usually that's supposed to sit on there, but that looks bent to me. So I don't know if that came in transit or just because the metal is so thin. It is pretty thin metal, I have to say. This power supply, if I'll flip it over just so people can see better, looks like it is, where is it? About 330 watts, yeah, right there. It's 330 watts. It's by the same LOGISYS. That's the brand LOGISYS. I didn't even see the LO. I thought it was just a logo, but LOGISYS. That's the power supply right there. Normal 24 pin. Well, SATA CPU. Does have a fair amount of ports, but I would not trust this power supply to run a, you know, a pretty full spec'd out system. I'm definitely going to use it for a very, very kind of crappy system that I have. Does have a pretty good amount of drive space. I think, yeah, four drive bays, as well as a bunch of 5 1/4 inch as well. I believe the back panel does come off, although it doesn't look like there's barely any room for cable management. But other than that, that's about it. So as first glance, that's pretty much all it comes with. So here, I'll go ahead and take this off right here. So you got a reset button right here. Nice clicky power button. I'm assuming it's gonna light up. 2 USB 2.0 ports right here, as well as microphone and headphone. Just a 3 1/4 inch slot right there, as well as well, that's kind of annoying. Individually wrapped 5 1/4 inch covers. Kind of peeking out the side out right here. Don't really know what that's all about. But otherwise, a very cheap case, and I'm just hoping that the power supply works. I guess I'll go ahead and test that out right now, actually. Alright, so like I said, I picked this thing up for about $33 on Newegg, and it definitely is worth that amount, if not less. So this whole entire kind of back system is supposed to be riveted on this side, but looks to be it's actually not even on. It's just kind of loose right there. This part holding the power supply is super flimsy. I can see that breaking anytime soon. The front did come with a fairly sized big dent, unless that's supposed to be like that for added airflow or something, but I mean, it kind of looks that way, but at the same time, I wouldn't really see a case bending like that, except if something landed on it, but it seems like a pretty clean bend, which is quite confusing. I don't really know why that is. Yeah, so that's the case. Definitely crappy quality. Super light though, I must say. That's probably a bad thing, but all in all, I'd probably give this case about a 3 out of 5 in terms of just a decent case. And now on to the power supply. So this thing, I can already tell is going to be a nightmare. I'm really hoping this works. This thing is super lightweight. This is probably the lightest power supply I've ever felt in my hand. Even, you know, compared to smaller power supplies like SFX power supplies and stuff like this. This thing is super light. It feels empty almost. In fact, you can't really see with this camera, but I mean, there's like nothing in there. So I don't know if that's gonna come with some thermal issues or what. I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see how this works. I'll go ahead and plug that up right there in that system, that Doom system right there. All right, so I got the power supply all hooked up in this this test system right here. This is my Doom PC, well, custom modded. You know, I got a Q6600 on here, a GTX 645 out of an OEM build. Obviously, I didn't do any cable management, but I just wanted to see if the supply worked right now. As you can see, there's ketchup and mustard cables galore. So 2 SATA connections, I think 4 Molex are tucked over there. So let's go ahead and power it on. So I'm just gonna press the power button over here. Please don't blow up. Okay, that didn't do anything right there. I'm gonna go ahead and press the power button to see what happens. Here we go. Alright, well, it looks like it is powering on the system, which is a good sign. Here's some beeps, don't really know what that's for, but actually, fans are running at max load. The fan is running in there, which is good to know. So first impressions are good. I'm gonna try to see if I can get this PC to post, and then I'll call it. All right, so this system's probably you know, probably max wattage of what this thing can output. I did get it to post, so that is good. It's booting into Windows right now. So I got a laptop hard drive, you know. This, I don't even know, something's running at full speed right now. I think it's, I don't know what that is actually. That's blowing full speed. I don't know if the GPU is. Gonna have to figure that out later. But you know, first impressions look pretty good about this power supply, which is I'm happy about. You know, I'm glad it's working. You know, I don't really care if the system dies. You know, I mean, I don't want it to, but as of now, everything looks to be okay. So I think I'm gonna call it. This power supply is acceptable. As with the case, you know, what essentially is a $20 plus $10 package. You know, you're getting a pretty good amount, but I'm going to go ahead and do a build on this and see how I like it. Alright, so I actually decided to change the front fan out. It does come with that right there. And I do have some things to say about that. First of all, the front panel, it is a tension fit with these things on here, so you do have to pull pretty hard from the bottom just to get it off. However, what I didn't realize until way later is that it's actually mounted with those screws in these holes onto this. So not only do you actually have to unscrew those, you have to pry it off as well. So that was hard. Another thing, these feet are literally screwed on. And not only that, seems that someone kind of messed up on that one. I don't know if you can see that, but they had to screw it in 3 times in order to actually get it to work. Again, not exactly the best quality. And then for the final gripe that I have, and the worst one of all, this panel right here was riveted on. Correct? Not so bad. You know, most panels on most computer cases are riveted. However, they installed the fan on this little piece right here, and then they riveted it. Okay? Either that, or they installed the fan and then riveted this. Because there's absolutely no way that I can actually take this fan out. It is stuck in there. Okay, I unscrewed it and everything, but it's stuck in there. I can't pull it out because there's no way for it to move. I can't go that way, can't go this way, you know, and I can't take this panel off because it's riveted. So I'm gonna have to find some sort of way to wedge this fan out of here. I might even have to break it just because that's how this thing is. So yeah, not exactly the best quality of cases. Alright, well, I was actually able to pry that fan out of there. Now that it's out, you can actually see the logo on there. It's quite strange. Seems like a decent fan though, if it works, of course. We'll have to see when I plug that in. But I actually had to, thank God the metal is so thin, I actually was able to bend this metal right here just to pull it out. I'm going to go ahead and bend it back into place just so the side panel can go back on, but that's how I pretty much had to take that fan out. Really, there's no other way to do so. Oh, and one side note, when the box advertises rounded edges, yeah, that's completely not true. This is sharp as hell. I pretty much have already cut myself up pretty bad just on these edges. These are kind of rounded. These are right here. That's fine. But just because they have some rounded edges doesn't mean all. The sharpest I could find is actually on the IO shield right here. Like, if you just touch this, it's basically like a razor. So for people who are kind of clumsy builders, I'd definitely stay away from this case. Alright, so I basically got my whole system fit in there. Looks rather nice on the outside, I guess. This is a fingerprint magnet though. This is pretty cheap plastic. But I would recommend actually getting this case if you're doing a very simple, very cheap build. Don't mind if you know, you may lose a few components if the power supply dies. That's just a sacrifice that you're gonna be willing to take if something goes wrong. But as of now, it does look like the power supply does work in that system right over there just fine, as well as the case. You know, a case can't really impact any components negatively, but just got a little power LED right there. I'm installing Windows on it right now, actually. But other than that, it actually seems to be a decent case. However, you know, if you were gonna wanna you know, put more reliable power supply in there, I'd probably recommend going with something like this. This is a refurb EVGA power supply, like a 430 watt. I definitely recommend this over the power supply that came with this. But yeah, concluding thoughts, I definitely recommend this if you're doing a very cheap build, but I would stay away from it if you are, you know, wanting to have a more reliable build. And thanks for watching this review / unboxing / personal thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next one.